We have is an old brass slop sink faucet. This one happens to be missing one handle. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off the one handle. This wire here is just a ground wire. In the old days, they used to ground the washing machines to the pipes. It's no longer considered common practice, but that's what they used to do. So we want to cover up the drain so that if we drop anything, it doesn't go down the drain. That is a very important pro tip I'm giving you. And also, we don't want to lose any parts, so we're going to put the parts in a little bucket there. Okay, so this handle is a little loose. We could just shake it off, but if it wasn't, I would try to pry it off with the screwdriver, or I would take a needle nose and I would lever the handle off. So that's how we get the handle off. The next thing, we have to get this off. So what we're going to use is a big adjustable wrench. And let me also tell you, as far as we're doing this, we're not going to just do like one side, like the hot or the cold. As long as we're here, we're going to do both. So it's lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. So tight is to the right, is clockwise. We want to get this off. So we're going to turn it counterclockwise. And I want to brace the pipe, because I don't just want to pull on the wrench. I could bend all of these pipes and stuff. So lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. There's two flats. There's two flats on this. And we want to catch them with our wrench, because we don't want to strip. We don't want to strip these things. And again, I'm bracing the pipe. Okay, there's the one side. Now this one, and again, because it's lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, but this one we're going to push that way. And again, I want to get it on the flats. On the flats. Okay, I think we got it. I think we got it. I think we got it. No, we didn't get it. The wrench slipped off. Okay. Oh, we did get it. It is loose. It isn't loose. It is loose. It isn't loose. Okay, there we got it. Okay. Once you get them a little loose, you know you're home safely. So we have to get these stem assemblies out, and they've probably got like years of corrosion on them. So sometimes you gotta actually loosen, and then tighten, then loosen, and then tighten, and that helps clear out the threads. So this is the cold side. Now we're gonna get the hot side out. And this one's a little stiffer, but again, loose and tight, loose and tight, loose and tight, loose and tight. Clear out the threads. Now the hot side, see, these are different. They turn different ways to close it. So we want to make sure we get the right one back in the right one. So I usually mark the hot one. Just in my head, I know the hot one is marked. So I'll know which side that goes in. So how I mark the hot one is simply take any kind of little sharp thing, and I just make a little, because it's brass, it's sharp metal, it's a soft metal, and I'll just make a little mark there, so I know that that's the hot. Okay, so what we're going to do is change the washers in this. And there's the washer. And here's the cold. So I'm going to take them outside to the truck. Follow along with me. I'm going to need a screwdriver. And if you don't have a... if you don't have a bench vise, you might want to bring along a locking plier to help you, and I'll show you. And here's the cold. So I'm going to take them outside to the truck. Follow along with me. I'm going to need a screwdriver. And if you don't have a... if you don't have a bench vise, you might want to bring along a locking plier to help you, and I'll show you why. Now washers, replacement washers, are available in home centers, hardware store, plumbing supplies. Heck, you might even have some down in your toolbox. They're usually sold in what they call a washer assortment, where you'll have all different sizes. But it's very specific, and it's very important that you get the correct size, because if it's too big, it won't work at all. And if it's too small, it'll squish out of its little collar and become, I mean, it might work like once or twice, but it certainly will not last the test of time. So here we are in the truck. I have my screwdriver, I have a bench vise, and I have my washer assortment. And again, you don't have to, you know, you're not going to buy like this washer assortment, but you're going to buy like a little blister pack with a whole bunch of different washers in it. Or if you just bring this to the plumbing supply, they may actually give you the actual right size washer, and you can just buy the 1 or 2 washers. Careful, this screw, a lot of times they're really corroded and stuff, and they'll just disintegrate on you. In which case, that will be another video where you gotta like drill them out and stuff like that. So anyway, carefully, I'm making sure my screwdriver is seated really good, because this is kind of like a one-shot deal, because sometimes these things just disintegrate. And again, lefty loosey, right tight, so counterclockwise. Okay, it's turning, that's good, as long as it doesn't break off. Alright, this one's coming out. So this is called a bib screw, a B-I-B-B screw. And we're going to set that aside. And we're going to take this washer out. Sometimes, in fact, most of the time, they're just stuck in here. So what I do, and careful not to scratch any of this metal, because it's brass and it's a soft metal. But I'm going to stick a sharp thing in there and pull it out. So here's the old washer. Okay. And it looks pretty worn out and stuff. And so what we're going to do now is size it up. We're going to hold a new washer up to it and make sure it fits in the little... This is called a washer cup. First thing, I'm just going to clean it out. You clean out whatever you want with a abrasive sponge or whatever. I happen to use a wire brush. And what I'm trying to clean out is that corner around here, just in case any pieces of the old rubber gasket are stuck. Now I'm going to go through my washers until I find one that fits. Too small, because it's shaking around. So I go to the next size bigger. It looks good, but it may be too small, so I'm going to just try the next size bigger, and if the next size bigger is too big, I know it's that size. Oh, that's it. This was too small. So what we want is a perfect fit in that cup. You may have to squeeze it in with your thumb or something, but you want it to like perfectly fit in that cup. Usually on the back of the washers, they'll have the size marked. Like this one is a... see if I could read what they have imprinted in here. This one is a 3/8 L. No, it's a 1/4 L. 1/4 L. So where it says 1/4 L, I want that upside down. I just want the smooth part showing, because that's what contacts the faucet seat, makes the seal. Now you can put the original screw back in there, but like I said, sometimes they corrode and fall apart. And most of the washer kits will come with new screws, so you're gonna want to get a new screw in there if you have it. And it's important as far as size and the thread of it. So I'm gonna match it up with a new screw as far as length and the threads, and just to make sure that it indeed is the right one, I'm going to screw it in by hand and make sure it goes in easily, because I don't want to cross thread it. See, I don't think that's the right one. It's not going in good. Okay, this is fine thread. I think that is coarse thread. So let us continue on our search for the correct. Let's try this one. This one looks too thin. too skinny. It's not right either. This is not right either. Let's try the next box. I think it's this one. I think it's this one. No, 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 no. It looks like a coarse thread. It's a coarse thread. Does it have any coarse thread washers? Oh, there it is. Perfect. Okay, we found it. It's this little coarse thread job. So the old washer, it's brass. We're going to put that in the meltdown bucket. That gets recycled. We are a green handyman here in the handyman zone. And again, making sure that that size indentation is down. We make sure the washer is seated in there. And then we want to make this screw pretty tight. Because if you have a loose washer, after a couple of weeks, if it loosens up, when you turn the water on and off, it's gonna bang in the pipes. Boom! You're gonna be like, what the hell? And that you would just take this out and tighten up this screw because you got a loose washer. But to eliminate that in the first place, I make these pretty tight so that, I mean, you don't want to strip it out, but you want this little indentation in the rubber. You definitely want to push it down, and it's got to go in easy. If it's not going in, it means it's cross threaded. It means you got the wrong size. You got to stop and get the right size. You definitely don't want to cross thread an old stem like this. You're definitely not going to be able to purchase an old stem like this, or you're going to have a really hard time about getting a replacement, just the stem, if you mess it up. So if you mess this up, your only option at that point would be to get a whole new slop sink faucet. A slop sink faucet of equal quality of the one that's in there now, they're about $150 plus installation. Oh, granted, you can get cheaper slop sink faucets at the home centers, but that's a nice quality brass unit. It's probably 60 years old. This house was built right after World War II. It's probably 60 years old, and it will last another 60 years with just common care, like changing the washers and stuff. All right, so this one, the stem came apart. I'm going to wire brush these threads here just to get some of this corrosion off. Just something like that. You don't have to go crazy. We're just wire brushing it. Then there's an O-ring right here. There's actually two O-rings. But we don't have a leak in this sink. It's not leaking around the stem, so we really don't have to change the O-ring. But I want to show you guys how to do it. So carefully, without scratching the copper, I'm removing the old O-ring. And they're usually all brittle and stuff, so you could usually just... I'm working with a razor knife. You could usually just get your razor knife in here and kind of... Okay, here's the old O-ring. So what we want to do is either bring this to the plumbing supply and have them match it up, or you're going to get an O-ring assortment. This is like a standard size. You're going to get yourself an O-ring assortment and match it up and replace the O-ring. Again, keeping your tools nice and neat. You don't want to drop that thing. Oh my God, it would take hours to straighten that out. So we're going to the O-ring assortment. And this looks like this one here, number 8. So we're going to pull out a number 8 and eyeball it. As far as thickness and the size of it, yes, that is a number 8 O-ring. So now we're going to take that second O-ring out, because there's actually 2 O-rings on this. Get the second one out without slicing my fingers to pieces or scratching the brass. My O-ring pick is actually inside. I would love to use my O-ring pick. Alright, but there it is, 2 O-rings off. And 2 O-rings on. And I'm going to put a little silicone grease, which is clear plumber's grease, on these O-rings before I reinstall them. And I'm taking something like a small rounded end of a drill bit, And I'm using that to help pop this over the rim. 1. 2 O-rings, okay, they seat right in there, okay, that's that. Okay, now this goes back in its bore, but we want to just run the wire brush around there gently. Get any crap out of there. We want to just get these outside threads a little bit. This goes back in here. Okay, sometimes they spin clockwise, counterclockwise. It depends on the handle orientation. This one is not marked, so this was the cold side. The one that was stuck was indeed. Now I'm going to show the old guy what I did. So I want to save these O-rings in my pocket, save these washers, save these bib screws to show the customer. Okay, this is still the stuck one. We're going to try one more time. It's been sitting with the penetrating oil. And try one more time to get this out so we could free it up. And if I could generally tell which direction it was turning. Okay, so this way is freeing it up. This is really stuck, this fucker. And again, I'm doing it both ways just to knock all the corrosion out of it. It's a little bit better. It's coming out. Keep working on it. I left my tool bag inside. It's coming. It's coming. You can see it's coming out. I got one O-ring exposed. That's what the problem is. The O-ring is like totally disintegrated, and the thing I have to worry about is if I mess the shaft up too much, the knob's not going to fit back on there. Okay, there it goes. Alright, we have this shaft out. That was really stuck. The penetrating oil and the working it back and forth. Oh my God, look at that O-ring. OMG. See if we could show my YouTube friends. Oh my God, it's like a fuzzy caterpillar. Totally just dried up and froze to the, look at all that crap that came out of there. Okay, so we got those O-rings out. We're going to put new O-rings. First we're going to put the good one in my pocket. We're going to clean it up a little bit with the wire brush, both where the O-rings sit and the threads at the same time. I'm going to clean out that inside bore with the wire brush and the outside threads a little bit. Okay. Alright, we can put the wire brush away. I'm just using this pipe cleaner to gently clean the inside out. And remember, it is brass. You definitely don't want to scratch the brass. It's very soft metal. Alrighty. It really looks messed up in there. Really looks messed up in there. And messed up, I mean there's a lot of old rubber O-ring left in there. Okay, that's looking a lot better. No, but not too much. It's soft brass. Okay, now 2 O-rings on the stem. They were number 8. And I'll have you know, yesterday I ordered 2 different replacement because I had used them up. So I always keep on top of my inventory. If you're gonna roll with the big dogs and do something for a living, you gotta be ready. I mean, how would I look if I came to do it and I put new washers in, but the water was pissing all out around the handle shaft because I didn't have O-rings. So what am I gonna charge this guy my big money, the 125 bucks I get for 40 minutes of work, and it's still leaking? No, you gotta do the job. You gotta do the job the right way, and then I can ask for 180 bucks because it's perfect, except we're missing a handle. That's a good idea. Let me look if I have any handles that will fit on this thread. The thing about these threads, it's called a spline, is not only is it the size of the actual roundness of the shaft, but also it could have like 20 splines, 26 splines, 28. It could be square, it could be D-shaped. There's like handles, it's like 1 in a million. If you don't have the right handle, if you're gonna find some other handle that may somehow fit. But I do have like a couple of scrap handles. Oh, that actually fits. That red one actually, that might work. But I need a screw. And anything plumbing, you want stainless or brass so it doesn't rust. This is my handle screw assortment. And I don't have my thread gauge, but we're just gonna trial and error. We're gonna try a couple. So this was a 8 box 37. This is a 1024 by 3/8, and it is the right threads, but it's a little short. So I'm gonna look for a 1024 by 1/2 inch or 3/4. 1024 by 1/2 inch, box number 38. May work. Yeah. Oh, perfect. Oh, that's good. Okay, it's better than nothing. Hello. Uh-oh. Good thing I didn't walk there. That freaking woman would have ran me over. Nothing like looking over your shoulder when you're backing up. Okay. Alright, so we're going to need a little silicone grease, which is the plumber's grease, and that's to dress up these O-rings. Okay. It's leaking all over the fucking floor. Okay, so what we're going to do is take this plumber's grease, put all over these O-rings. We also want some on these threads that we cleaned up. And we want to put some on the inside of this barrel here. And get that hair out of there. do. That'll do. Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm fixing your sink for you. Again, it's brass, so we want to be careful that we don't scratch it or damage it. So we're just grabbing parts that, and then I'm like back and forth working these O-rings up into their bore. I don't want to just force them up because I could rip them, but I definitely want to get them up in there. And there they are. Okay, so that's seated squished. You want this as short as you can. In other words, you want it like all the way up, because when we push it in, we don't want to squish the new washer against the seat in there. Now, there's a couple of seats in here we want to inspect just to make sure they're not damaged. Let's see, that seat feels really rough and bad, so we want to try to get a look in there. It looks okay. Can you guys see the seat in there? That inside round thing, that's the seat. And we just want to make sure that there's no big chunks out of that and stuff. Alright, and this is the one I marked, so this is the hot one. And basically, clockwise, lefty, right, tighty. We're just threading that in. We're going to tighten it up with the wrench in a minute. Here's the cold one. We have to give it the silicone grease treatment. Short, so we're not going to squish our new O-ring against the seat. Clockwise, make sure it's not cross-threaded by making sure it goes in by hand first. And I know some of you people may seem I'm being really basic, but I don't know who's watching the video. It could be in Pakistan, Uzbekistan, Korea, Singapore, India, Mumbai. I got customers all over the world. YouTube fans all over the world, South Africa, Nigeria. I'm constantly getting emails and inboxes from everybody, and I want to thank you all because it really makes my day. I usually check my inbox right before I leave the house in the morning, and really, and I don't have a lot of haters, believe it or not. I mean, as most YouTubes go, everybody's got these haters and stuff, these big YouTube channels. I mean, I got a big YouTube channel. I'm a paid partner, legacied, you know, and surprisingly few haters because I'm here helping people. So now we can test this. Obviously the drip has stopped, but let's turn it on and off and flush the lines, because those shut-off valves would probably disturb a lot of crap in there. It's going to come out now. Alright, see how it all came out brown and stuff, and those air bubbles, look at that, all that black, that's from those shut-off valves back there down the line. So let's flush all of that out of there and shut it off. Let's do the same with the hot. Watch how the water comes out. All brown, air bubbles, black stuff. That's all from that shut-off valve. Oh yeah, look at that crap. And now we flush it out for the clean. And shut it. Okay, now we're going to wait a minute and check for if it's still dripping. Okay, that leak has stopped. We took care of that. Alright, now we can clean up. Okay, so on is up and off is down. That's good. And we put the handle on that side. Our supply, which we followed the pipes up, and we found the shut-offs, are here and here, hot and cold. So we're going to turn these on, and as we're turning them on, we're going to check the shaft of these valves to make sure it's not leaking, because these valves hardly ever get used. Then when you do use them, they tend to leak along the shaft. It's a very easy fix. I'm going to annotate right now to a video I made on how to take care of a valve that's leaking on the shaft. It's called a packing nut, and it's designed to be serviceable. Okay, you see there's a little there's a little water up there? Can you see that? Okay, so that just may be because I just turned it on. So what we're gonna do is dry it off and then check it again. So we're gonna use a rag and we're drying off really good right at that shaft. Now if it leaks, it'll leak right away. Okay, that's dry. That's dry. We're gonna come back to that though. Now we can test this. Obviously the drip has stopped, but let's turn it on and off and flush the lines because those shut-off valves, we probably disturbed a lot of crap in there. It's gonna come out now. Oh, see how it all came out brown and stuff, and those air bubbles, look at that, all that black, that's from those shut-off valves back there down the line. So let's flush all of that out of there and shut it off. Let's do the same with the hot. Watch how the water comes out. All brown, air bubbles, black stuff, that's all from that shut-off valve. Oh yeah, look at that crap. And now we flush it out for the clean. That is the packing nut. That is the packing nut. So we're going to put the wrench on the packing nut and give it like a quarter turn or half or eighth of a turn. We just want to snug it up. Alright, so the wrench is on there. Look. Okay, that's all it takes. And let's just do the cold as long as we're here. Just a little bit. We snug up the packing nut.